Hi, this is Jacob Haller, and welcome to Tell Me About Your Song. This is a bonus episode where I talk about someone else's song and sort of go through what I think is interesting about it and why I like it. So today I'm going to be talking about the great Lyle Lovett song, God Will. And I was kind of inspired to take on this song because a while ago now, someone posted on Facebook saying, I don't understand what the big deal is about Lyle Lovett or why people like him. He seems really overrated to me. And someone replied to that post and said, well, I'm surprised to hear you say that because I really think he's great. Here's my favorite song of his, and linked to a song. And the original person replied and said, oh, I hadn't heard that song before. Yeah, that's actually a really great song. And then someone else did the exact same thing with a different song. And again, the first person replied and said, oh, I hadn't heard that one either, but yeah, that's really good. And this just continued, 2 or 3 more times, and eventually the original poster said, you know what, it turns out I'm wrong. Lyle Lovett is great, and his songs are great. And so that made me think about what my favorite Lyle Lovett song is. And there are a few different possibilities there, but God Will is definitely up there. I'm probably giving myself way too much credit, but I kind of feel like Lyle Lovett's sensibility can be a little similar to mine in a lot of ways. Like his songs can often have like a clever twist to them, which is something that I try to do in many of my songs. God Will kind of has a joke structure to it. It starts out with a bunch of questions. Who keeps on trusting you when you've been cheating and spending your nights on the town? And who keeps on saying that he still wants you when you're through running around?
That he still wants you when you're through running around.
And who keeps on loving you when you've been lying, saying things ain't what they seem?
Who keeps on loving you when you've been lying?
You would kind of think maybe it's the person who's singing, maybe it's a friend of his,
Well, God does.
which is already like a little bit blasphemous and a little bit shocking. You don't expect that. And then it goes on to say, but I don't. So right away, there's this comparison being made, which, again, kind of reinforces the kick of that first line. And that's the difference between God and me, which is hilarious, and which takes that sort of subtext of who is this guy who is comparing himself to God and makes it explicit. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the 2 punchline structure. So the question is, what can you do in for the rest of the song? And what he does is, first there's a little instrumental, which gives a little time for the whole thing to sink in. And then there's a half of a verse. So who says he'll forgive you and says that he'll miss you and dream of your sweet memory? Now this is an interesting half verse because forgive you, that is not to be too blasphemous myself, but that's like a classic God thing to do. And says that he'll miss you, but that's not really a Jesus thing. And dream of your sweet memory, very much not a holy or God thing. So at this point, the twist that Lyle Lovett puts in here is that the narrator is being a little bit unreliable. He's claiming that God will do all these things and that he won't, but in fact, he really wishes that he could do these things himself. And that idea, to give it a further twist in that second half verse, is that would have, if it were me writing the song, that would take me a while to figure out how to do that. And maybe I never would have. So my hat's off to you, Mr. Lovett, and you and your excellent songs. And I hope that you all out there enjoyed hearing my discussion of this song. Have a great day.